Welcome to the incredible story of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, a footballer whose journey from a war-torn region to the pinnacle of European football is nothing short of cinematic. They call him Kvaradona in Naples, Caravaggio in Paris, and a Georgian genius across the continent. But before the dazzling dribbles, the wonder goals, and the Champions League heroics, Khvicha was a young boy, navigating a world of conflict, using football as his escape. This is the tale of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, the war escapee lighting up Europe. Buckle up for a deep dive into his life, his rise, and his unrelenting drive to become one of the world's best. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. A child of Georgia, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia was born on February 12, 2001, in Tbilisi, Georgia, a country nestled between the Black Sea and the Caucasus Mountains. A place of breathtaking beauty, but also a history scarred by conflict. Growing up in the early 2000s, Khvicha's childhood was shaped by Georgia's turbulent post-Soviet era. The 2008 Russo-Georgian War, when he was just 7 years old, brought tanks and airstrikes to his homeland. Families like his lived with uncertainty, yet amidst this chaos, young Khvicha found solace in a football. His father, Badri Kvaratskhelia, was a footballer himself, playing for clubs in Georgia and Azerbaijan. Badri wasn't a global star, but he was a local hero, and he instilled in Khvicha a love for the game. Picture a young Khvicha kicking a worn-out ball on the streets of Tbilisi, dreaming of something bigger. His talent was evident early on. Neighbors and coaches noticed his uncanny ability to glide past defenders, his left foot weaving magic even as a child. But talent alone wasn't enough in a country where opportunities were scarce, and the shadow of war loomed large. Khvicha joined the youth academy of Dinamo Tbilisi, one of Georgia's most storied clubs, at a young age. Here, his raw potential began to take shape. Coaches described him as quiet, but fiercely determined, a boy who let his feet do the talking. By his teens, he was already turning heads, but Georgia's football infrastructure couldn't fully nurture a talent of his caliber. To chase his dreams, Khvicha would need to leave home, a daunting prospect for any teenager, let alone one from a region marked by instability. The Russian chapter and a daring escape. In 2019, at just 18, Khvicha took a bold step, signing with Rubin Kazan in the Russian Premier League. It was a move driven by necessity. Russia's league offered better facilities and exposure than Georgia's. But it wasn't an easy transition. Khvicha was a shy teenager, far from home, adapting to a new language and a fiercely competitive environment. Still, his performances on the pitch spoke volumes. In his brief stint at Rubin Kazan, he showcased flashes of brilliance, quick feet, audacious dribbles, and a knack for creating something out of nothing. But everything changed in February 2022. Russia's invasion of Ukraine sent shockwaves across the region, and for Khvicha, it was a moment of reckoning. As a Georgian, he was acutely aware of his country's own history with Russian aggression. Staying in Russia felt untenable. In a stroke of ingenuity, Khvicha and his agent exploited a FIFA loophole that allowed foreign players to suspend their contracts with Russian clubs due to the invasion. With his future hanging in the balance, Khvicha made a daring decision. He fled Russia, returning to Georgia to join Dinamo Batumi, the club of his hometown. This wasn't just a career move, it was an act of courage. At 21, Khvicha was navigating a geopolitical crisis, leaving behind a lucrative contract for the uncertainty of a smaller league. Yet, in Batumi, he found freedom. Playing in front of his people, he rediscovered his joy for the game. His performances were electric, 11 goals and 8 assists in just 11 matches. The world was starting to take notice, and one club in particular saw a diamond in the rough: Napoli and the birth of Kvaradona. In the summer of 2022, Napoli, a sleeping giant of Italian football, took a gamble on the relatively unknown Georgian for a modest 12 million euros. To put that into perspective, it's a fraction of what clubs spend on unproven youngsters today. Napoli's sporting director, Cristiano Giuntoli, saw in Khvicha a player who could ignite their attack. And ignite he did. Khvicha arrived in Naples as an enigma, a wiry winger with a mop of curly hair and a quiet demeanor. But on the pitch, he was a revelation. His debut season in Serie A was nothing short of historic. Playing on the left wing, Khvicha terrorized defenses with his unpredictable dribbling, pinpoint crosses, and lethal finishing. He scored 12 goals and provided 13 assists in the 2022-23 season. But those numbers only tell half the story. His flair, his audacity, his ability to change games single-handedly earned him a nickname that carried immense weight: Kvaradona. In Naples, Diego Maradona is a god. To be compared to him is both a blessing and a burden. Yet Khvicha embraced the moniker, channeling Maradona's spirit with every mazy run. Fans at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona chanted his name, and murals of the Georgian star began appearing across the city. Alongside Victor Osimhen and under the guidance of coach Luciano Spalletti, Khvicha led Napoli to their first Serie A title in 33 years, a triumph that sent the city into a frenzy. For a 22-year-old who had fled Russia just months earlier, it was a fairy tale come true. But Khvicha's impact went beyond trophies. He became a symbol of hope for Georgia, a nation craving a hero. His emotional celebrations, often draped in the Georgian flag, resonated deeply with fans back home. David Webb, the English assistant manager of the Georgian national team, described Khvicha as a superstar in the making, a player who carried the weight of a nation's dreams on his slender shoulders. The PSG era, Caravaggio emerges. By January 2025, Khvicha's star had risen so high that Paris Saint-Germain, one of the world's richest clubs, came calling. Napoli, facing financial pressures, reluctantly accepted a €70 million offer, and Khvicha made the move to the French capital. For PSG, it was a statement signing, a player who embodied their new philosophy under coach Luis Enrique: hard work, versatility, and attacking flair. Khvicha hit the ground running. In his first League One match against AS Monaco, he scored a stunning goal, faking out a defender before rifling the ball into the net. Scoring like that in front of these amazing fans, in this incredible atmosphere, is the best feeling, he told Canal supporters. But it was in the Champions League where Khvicha truly announced himself to the world. Against Aston Villa in the quarterfinals, Khvicha delivered a performance for the ages. Sprinting down the left, he bamboozled defenders with a blizzard of quick feet before unleashing a thunderous shot into the roof of the net. It's probably the most important, happiest, and most emotional goal I've ever scored, he said afterward. PSG won 3-1, and Khvicha's wonder goal earned him the nickname Caravaggio in Paris, a nod to the Baroque painter Caravaggio, whose dramatic artistry mirrored Khvicha's flair. In the semi-finals against Arsenal, Khvicha was even more devastating. He won possession more times than anyone on the pitch, made 6 tackles, and sliced through Arsenal's defense with a ruthless team move. Sky Sports' Adam Bate wrote, "The signing of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia sums up the shift in emphasis at PSG." Luis Enrique praised his mentality, saying, "For a coach like me, it's so great to have a player like him." Craig Hope of the Daily Mail called him a Georgian genius, adding, "We have never seen a player like him." Khvicha's versatility was on full display. One moment, he was dropping back to cover for left-back Nuno Mendes. The next, he was tearing down the wing, leaving defenders in his wake. His work rate, combined with his technical brilliance, made him the complete package. Experts began to predict that he could become one of the top 5 players in the world, with some even tipping him to win the Champions League within a few years. The man behind the magic. Off the pitch, Khvicha is a paradox, a shy, image-conscious star who's both enigmatic and relatable. At PSG, they describe him as mercurial, a player with a charismatic yet elusive personality. Unlike many modern footballers, he's not obsessed with social media clout, but he's savvy enough to build his brand. He has his own digital team, creating highlight reels that showcase his balletic skill. Think of that YouTube clip from his cameo against Rennes, where he controls a high ball with a leap that defies gravity. Khvicha's journey has also been shaped by sacrifice. Leaving Georgia as a teenager, fleeing Russia during a war, and adapting to the pressure of playing for Napoli and PSG required immense resilience. Yet he remains grounded, often speaking about his family and his pride in representing Georgia. His contract with PSG runs until 2029, and at 24, he's only scratching the surface of his potential. His playing style is a blend of old-school wing play and modern dynamism. He's compared to Mohamed Salah for his cutting edge, George Best for his flair, and even Maradona for his ability to carry a team. Luciano Spalletti, his former Napoli coach, likened him to Salah, saying Khvicha had the same hunger to dominate. But what sets Khvicha apart is his unpredictability. As Ian Ladyman wrote for the Daily Mail, Kvaratskhelia was absolutely spellbinding, a player who can turn a tie on its head. The Georgian dream. For Georgia, Khvicha is more than a footballer. He's a national treasure. His performances have inspired a new generation of kids to pick up a ball, dreaming of emulating their hero. In 2024, he helped Georgia qualify for their first ever European Championship, a historic moment for a country of just 3.7 million people. On the international stage, he scored 15 goals and 33 caps, a remarkable return for a winger playing for a smaller nation. Khvicha's story resonates because it's universal. It's about defying the odds, about using talent and grit to rise above circumstances. From the streets of Tbilisi to the bright lights of Paris, he's carried the hopes of a nation while captivating the world. Posts on X capture the sentiment. One user called his journey something out of the most incredible storybook, while another dubbed him a world-class baller after his Champions League exploits. What lies ahead? As of May 2025, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is at a crossroads. At 24, he's already achieved what most players can only dream of: a Serie A title, a starring role in the Champions League, and a transfer to one of Europe's elite clubs. But the hunger in his eyes suggests he's far from satisfied. PSG's quest for their first Champions League trophy now rests partly on his shoulders, and with Luis Enrique's guidance, they look closer than ever. Could Khvicha win the Ballon d'Or one day? It's not a stretch. His blend of skill, work rate, and big game mentality makes him a rare breed. Premier League clubs like Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham have long admired him, and while he's committed to PSG, the future is full of possibilities. One thing is certain: wherever he goes, he'll leave defenders dizzy and fans in awe. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia's story is a testament to the power of dreams. From a war escapee to a Champions League star, he's proven that talent can triumph over adversity. His journey is far from over, but one thing is clear: the Georgian genius is lighting up Europe, and the world can't look away. What's your favorite Khvicha moment? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into football's biggest stars. Till next time, keep dreaming big.